Welcome to the Baltimore County Human Relations Commission Board meeting Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. We welcome all of the commissioners that are here on the line tonight. We also welcome our new interim director, Savitra Peoples, as well as in Gary from the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights. We do have a new commissioner on this evening, Ruth Howard, and we will now turn it over to our chairperson, Jason Blavitt.
Well, thank you, Ms. Brown Carter. You actually took most of the words out of my mouth. But I do just want to very quickly again thank commissioners for joining us this evening virtually. And as I shared in my email of last week, that Executive Director Troy Williams has gone to a new position, which he actually believes started yesterday in Texas. So we certainly wish him well. Best of luck to him. Thank for everything that he did to help the Baltimore County Human Relations Commission really evolve and step up with so many roles, not just as far as the commission, but his DEI work as well. And I'm confident that we're going to continue on that positive path going forward. Also, want to, in light of his departure, I did have a conversation with Stacy Rogers, who's a Baltimore County Administrative Officer, and actually Ramona Brown Carter was with me as well. And at that time, I got to meet Ms. Savitra Peoples, who's with the county and is going to serve as our interim executive director, with many other hats that I'm sure she's wearing at the same time as well. So again, it's a process that we're moving through, all positive. I was assured, I want to share with you that the commission is going to continue its work. It's an important part of Baltimore County government, and that your work is going to be vital as we move forward. With that, again, I know there's a lot of questions that will be forthcoming as far as next steps, and to that end, we do have some answers and some direction for that, but I'll turn it over to Ms. Peoples to let her introduce herself a little bit, and she'll also give you some perspectives as far as the plans of the county and how to fill the permanent role of the executive director. So with that, I'll turn it over to you. And I would ask commissioners, if you would please mute yourself if you haven't already. Certainly will be opportunity for questions, but so that we don't have some feedback. Ms. Peoples, please.
Thank you so much, Chairman Blavitt. And I just also want to just thank Ms. Brown Carter for her role, her continuous role in supporting the commission. As you have heard, my name is Savitra Peoples Brown, and I have the great pleasure of working with you all during this interim period as your interim successor to Mr. Williams, who, by the way, I did speak to briefly on Monday to see how his first day went, and he said that it was going well. So we know that he has transcended on to the great part of Dallas, Texas, and is doing well. As has also been mentioned, we are in search of we're actually conducting an executive search for Troy's permanent successor. But in the interim, I just wanted to allay my commitment and responsibility and just the level of importance that I have taken on this particular endeavor. I am committed to working and getting to know each of you. As far as immediate next steps, Ms. Brown Carter and I did have a chance to briefly review the goals that you all have accomplished and those that you've set. And I just offer that during this next recess period of throughout the month of August, that you begin to think about some of the things that you seek to accomplish within the next year. Ms. Brown Carter and I are working on an official, just one pager, if you will, that gives you examples of what some of the other jurisdictions are doing throughout the state and across the nation as well, that we consider best practices that we as a commission may want to review and consider as we continue to map out our path forward together. So I just wanted to again introduce myself and to just express my enthusiasm And I look forward to meeting everyone in September. If we haven't found Troy's permanent successor by then, I look forward to meeting everyone in September at the in-person meeting. So to that, I will turn it back over to you, Commissioner Blavitt.
Well, thank you. And again, as far as the process, we're talking the anticipation is a several month process, hopefully within 90 days, hopefully less than that. But as people stated, it's going to be a thorough process, a search. So it's not going to be a matter of just trying to find somebody to put in that position, but someone that can actually excel in that position, in that role. And as we know, Troy's role morphed in many ways and evolved once he did come in, so that it is going to be a lot of attributes, a lot of assets that are going to be involved in making sure that the right person for the right fit. With that, I'll certainly open it up to any other questions that commissioners would have. Again, we don't have that much more information to share, but I'm not sure if. Okay. Um, yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, no. I
Okay.
think I hit a button. It's okay. No.
Okay, I thought I was wondering that you were asking the question. I thought you have probably more of the answers than I do.
No.
So, if anyone have any specific questions at this
Yes,
time?
yes, I would welcome Ms. Peoples, and I was just curious as to what was her previous position, and I understand, and I think glad to hear her enthusiasm to move this commission forward. Just a little bit of the bio, if she can give.
Okay, I'll let Laura go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you for the warm welcome. So it's funny you said the previous position. I'm still doing it. So I'm wearing multiple hats gladly. So my official title is the special assistant to our county administrative officer. So I work closely with her on the day-to-day operations. So, we were working closely with Troy before his departure. We were working closely with, from an operations standpoint to make certain that he had all of that, the resources and support in order to, succeed. And, I will continue to do so. We are, actively, recruiting to get me some more support. But nonetheless, that is my official title. My background, my training is in a few things: political science, business administration, and public health. And I would say that, when we think about just human relations, public health, it completely aligns, right? Because it's about the individual and working to make sure that we offer the best resources and the best support to be able to ensure that they, succeed. So.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bryan?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Maybe
Hi.
this is a silly question and it's only me, but I don't recognize Commissioner Howard. I don't think I've ever met her.
Commissioner Howard, yes, yes, she is new commissioner to the commission. Unfortunately, we have not been able to meet in person, and she's actually able to join us this evening, and so all that's getting finalized as well. So hopefully, I think we have some other faces that will actually be more familiar once we get around the table in September.
Okay. Well, hello there. Glad to meet you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Commissioner Howard.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. With that, actually, well, I do also want to mention that a lot of you, I mentioned Stacy Rogers, who's the Baltimore County Administrative Officer. She did present to all of us at the retreat. So if that sounds a little familiar, you might have remember when she did present to us. But I'll actually open it up now for any other commissioners that want to share any news out of their districts since we last met. Any upcoming events or past events that you wanted to share about?
Well, the only event that very of great significance to the Baltimore County, especially in District 1, was the Muslims' high holiday. Is one of the two highest holidays. It's called the Feast festival of feast festival. And there were close to 25,000 people who attended a congregation just in one location, which is the Islamic Society of Baltimore, which some of you have visited with me before. So it was a nightmare as far as the parking was concerned. But I do want to thank the security mall administration. They allowed us to use their parking to be able to shuttle people from there to the location. So that's the major one.
Thank you, Commissioner Jamil. Actually, I see Commissioner Rahman has something that she wanted to share.
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and welcome all new people to our commission. And I'm sure you'll enjoy us because we are a lot of fun people. Add to what the Commissioner Jamil said, at this occasion, this particular Eid that we celebrate, we also slaughter and in name of God, of course, for Ibrahim, that you all know the story that he was asked to slaughter his son, and that in place of him there was a lamb. So in this time we slaughter animals, and so a lot of meats came in to be distributed in the community, especially for people who do not have, especially now it's so expensive, meat is so expensive. So people has been bringing to our center, and others are coming and getting the meat. So hundreds and hundreds of people have been lined up to get some beef or lamb or goat, whatever was given to them to be distributed. So I just want to let you know that was the highlight of this particular celebration of ours. So
Thank you for sharing.
If I could interject for just one moment, I just wanted to apologize in advance. I'm going to have to turn my camera off. I'm at the airport, and I just don't want to be a distraction.
Understood. That's why we appreciate you being here tonight.
You're not running away, are you?
Not at all, not at all. If for those who may have heard of the Kettering Foundation, I'm visiting. They have a workshop that we're actually going to talk about engaging and putting on community forums. So I expect to learn a lot of great information tomorrow that I can share, right with the commissioner.
Awesome.
Actually, with that, I'll turn it over to Ramona Brown Carter to provide the executive update.
Good evening, everyone. If you had an opportunity to look at today's agenda, it's very brief and direct, straight to the point. We have wrapped up our cultural competence and cultural bias season of training in the month of June, the latter part of the month of June. So we will be revamping and probably releasing another cultural bias 2.0 training in the fall. But we did get great responses for the cultural bias 1.0 rather training that we introduced in the spring, as well as cultural competence and humility training. This summer, we are releasing our LGBTQIA training. We will be training the fire department on the 21st of this month. We'll be working with their diversity, equity, and inclusion, their chief of diversity, equity, and inclusion officer, Sharita O'Brien, with that training. And we will also be doing a training for the Department of Public and Works in the LGBTQI training as well. And that date will be released at a later date. As far as any additional training, we will utilize the month of August to recuperate and to revamp and to look at what we have and what we can increase in the knowledge that we have gained, and take in account those who specifically joined in on the conversation with us and responded in the survey. The surveys have been wonderful. The response in the surveys have been wonderful, and I'm grateful. Just wanted to acknowledge Commissioner Lewis again for the times that she was able to assist me in monitoring the chat and being a part of the conversation. Thank you so much, Commissioner Lewis, and I'm hoping that as we begin to move forward with our course catalog, that as we begin to talk about it, that there are some of you whose calendars will allow you to be a part of that. Thank you again. And that is it as far as the training is concerned. I do have a June update for the hate bias, and I'm moving on now for the hate bias incident report. I'm going to share my screen with you. Give me 1 second. All right. Give me, let's see.
Commissioner Bryan, we'll come back to you a little after.
Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. Are you able to see that?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
great. For the month of June, we have 8 incidents that have been reported. They are not just hate bias incidents. Some are attached to crimes, as well as verbal harassment from the community at large. And so we're going to dive into area code 21227. This is an LGBTQ ongoing investigation. The victim stated that he was punched in the face and was called gay. The victim had blood on his face and scratches on his face and was transported to the hospital. The suspect stated that the victim strangled him and threw him into a workbench, and had threatened to kill him. So, of course, this is an ongoing case, but we want to make you aware of that. We're looking at,
I'm on a conference call.
we want to make
The
you,
Human Relations Commission.
we want to make you aware of uh, area code 2122. Victim observed a writing on of chalk and had, of course, we this is not new. We see that people tend to vandalize items to make their statements. And so this was left in the front of someone's building in this said location.
Instead of going to the meeting, I can.
Commissioner Myrick, if you can mute
Sorry.
your, thank you.
Okay. Were you able to mute yourself? Yeah, there we go. All right, thank you. And then if we look at area code 21222 again, the victim advised that there was, and as far as the LGBTQ community is concerned, a flag that was 2 flags that was posted and sign that wrote Happy Degeneracy Month. We look, and as you can see, that was kind of ramped up during the month of June, so you can understand we are getting great traction as far as people are actually reporting to the police. In area code 2122 again, the victim was involved in a road rage bias incident while driving home. Um, Made some turn, and the offender was yelled obscenities to her. So this is a verbal assault. When we look at 21222 again, this spat in the face, spat in the food of someone who ordered from a restaurant, and the suspect called the victim a nigger. So as we can see, the fight continues to continue on with language, and as well as understanding and being able to live amongst each other. 21211, I'm sorry, 21221. The victim stated the suspect was living adjacent to his home and approached him to talk about the yard work he was having done. The suspect started complimenting him on the concrete work, um, and then later observed the victim walking away, eating the bananas, and then throwing several bananas in the yard. So, of course, this is a racial-based incident, and we want to make sure that we keep in. We are going to make sure that those who reach out to us that want to be contacted and understand what has happened, we do. This is a damage to property, and the damage was in the rears of $350. The manager of the store observed 2 males arguing in the bottom level of the library. During the argument, the suspect called another suspect the N word and grabbing the victim's laptop and cell phone off the table and proceeded to smash them on the ground. So this is an ongoing as far as damaged property. And then the last one is 21222. The victim stated she got into a verbal argument with a manager over using the self checkout aisle. The victim left the store while with her mother and daughter and proceeded to place the groceries in her car. While the victim was placing the groceries in the car, she felt a thud sound next to her, and the victim realized that a banana was thrown in her way. The victim observed two suspects yelling, uh, white B. Actually, so this is an anti-white. So their racism goes across the spectrum, and it's not just black and white or white and black. It is also we include the LGBTQ community and the uh, discrimination that they receive as well. And so we want to make sure that we are reaching out to our community partners, that we are visible in our community meetings and making our community constituents aware that they are and should always report things that are happening to them and not keeping them to themselves. As we can, oh, I'm sorry, as we can see, they are reporting, and our report base is getting larger. And this is what we wanted. Not that we wanted it because of the numbers, but we wanted uh, the police to be aware that how they're reporting and to understand that these hate bias incidents sometimes that are attached to crimes, that we're not just focusing on the crimes, but we're focusing on the hate bias incident or the hate crime that is attached to it as well. That's it for me this evening. I'll turn it back over to you, Chairperson Blavitt. I do see there were some hands, and I do apologize. So I'm going to go to Commissioner Bryan first.
Let me just add one thing. I know Commissioner Bryan, Commissioner Howard, and Commissioner King. You just remind everyone. I see Commissioner Rahman as well. That part of what at the retreat, and I think subsequent to that, especially prior to that, the Baltimore County Police are doing a much better job. They're now better educated on how to really take reports down and how to properly identify incidents so that they are getting reported. As I've said many times, we don't want there to be instances, but if they do take place, we do want to know about them. We want them reported so we can effectively then have an approach going forward. So I'll actually, I don't see Commissioner, okay, Commissioner, we'll do Commissioner Bryan, then go down the line. So first, Commissioner Bryan, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I just want to report in that the Maryland Commission on LGBTQIA Affairs still getting ourselves organized into committees and that sort of thing. But my ears really perked up, Ramona, as the hate bias reports. I was wondering if there's any way you could share those with me so that I can share those in turn. Looking for ways to coordinate with other bodies such as this and to gather as much data as we can to help us determine what our next actions should be.
I
I'm
certainly
also
will.
interested in the training that you mentioned. If it's possible for me to sit in on any of those.
I will send the link out to anyone. I will send the link out to the body at large. And if you like to register for the class, you certainly can be a part of it.
Thank you.
And as far as sharing the reports, I guess you would just double check whether
I would just extract that
right.
for the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
Well, but I do believe there are some limitations, and I'm not the county, but if we just double check to make sure what parts of that, what can be distributed, how it is, and even in what method. So certainly the information is fine. I'm not sure if the reports themselves can actually be shared.
Yeah, no, I would create a form with just as limited as describing what took place,
Right,
but
and
not
anonymized without names or anything. Yeah, that would be fine.
Commissioner King.
I just had a quick question. Well, maybe it's not. Ramona was talking about the different incidents, and it looks like it's only in 3 zip codes. So my question is, are those police officers getting different or better training, or are these the only places that, we're aware of that are having these kind of incidents?
So it's the same training across the spectrum. I think it's more so of the community being empowered to report it, because it's not necessarily just based on what kind of training that the police officers are receiving. But I think it has to do both with the community and the police department as well. So, but you know what I will do, I will try to utilize some time in August to try and see what the trend is, because there are sometimes like this report definitely did 21222 a lot, but maybe we can look at the past reports for this year and see what the trend has been, if it's the same zip code or if it's, if it's one more than the other. So
to that exact point, I believe if we look back at some of the prior ones, they're unfortunately for diversity, I think there are other zip codes that were coming up multiple times. So it does seem heavy in this reporting, but I think we do have. But if you can do that, looking at the tracking of what zip codes, that'd probably be helpful for us as well. Thank you. Commissioner, I believe.
Thank you.
Howard?
Yes, I just wanted to know, were most of the perpetrators apprehended?
So some cases are still open. Doesn't necessarily mean that they were arrested. It just means that there's an ongoing investigation. And some of them, like when you have vandalization of property, generally unless there's a camera, they really can't capture who the person is. But those that have aggravated assault attached to them is an ongoing investigation, and so the police will handle it from that perspective.
Commissioner Rahman, I think, was next.
Mhm. Commissioner Rahman? We can't. Oh, let me try and go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask more about the diversity training that you were talking about. I somehow missed it because I would have loved to participate in that, So it happened last month, or when did it happen?
Which training?
The one you were talking about, diversity, inclusiveness. That's something you mentioned, no? I misunderstood.
The cultural competence training.
Yes.
So those are the cultural competence training is definitely the training that is mandatory for all health and human services employees. And the invitation, if I'm not mistaken, was sent a while ago. I do not send them for every class because I am doing about 2 to 3 classes a month. So I cannot send an invitation to each class. But what I will try and do is in September, when I resume those classes, try to open it up to the commissioners to attend the classes who would like to attend the classes. They're certainly welcome. Yes.
Yeah, I think it would be very important if one of us, and at least from our community, would be present to be with there, because there are a lot of questions that might come that you might not know the answers for it. You know what I mean? So I would really appreciate it if you could let me know.
Sure.
And I would like to help you out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lewis, yes.
We have a national night out coming up, and I think this is something that is worth for anyone who's there, the commissioners there, to present to any residents that show up for National Night Out, because it's about community law enforcement, to let them know that when they experience incidents like this, they should report it to police. It is a reportable issue. If someone is calling you a derogatory name, if you're going through service or an encounter, like for a traffic issue, that is something that's reportable. It's not something you're supposed to just, eat it up and roll with it. Because if you look at the recent news, some of the first contacts they've had with some of these people who do these extreme violent incidents is that they have this pattern of those kind of incidents. So, if anyone's going to be at a National Night Out event, I have opportunity to say, hey, if this happens, go ahead and report it to police. They will not ignore you. They will not blow you off, and you're not being overly sensitive to do so.
And one of the things that I wanted to say as far as the police department, and you did jar my memory just now, Commissioner King, is that the OAG's office, as far as the Maryland Hate Crimes Task Force is concerned, they have hired an attorney to take over the task force and who will carry out the day-to-day duties of it. They're in the process of hiring a project manager. The FBI and the Maryland State Police have stepped up and said that they will continue their training with the not just Baltimore County. I was going to say Baltimore County Police, but with the entire state of Maryland police forces that are that they report to them. They will continue their training and develop best practices. So out of this grant that was given to the Maryland Hate Crimes Task Force, we will be developing more training for police officers, community training, and we will be developing a website and an um, online interactive training for those who cannot get to in-person training. So all of that will be taking place once the new OAG has been elected. But right now, the foundation is being built with the new person that has been hired. Her name is Marina. I'll get the last name. I'll send it in the email. But we had a meeting with her this week, or was it last week? Maybe last week. We met with her, and she has some great ideas, and that we'll be sending back to the other organizations as well. I saw another. Did I say another hand?
Mr. Ryan, did you have a question, or did you get an answer?
Well, Ramona partially answered. I was going to ask who the name of the new person was, and you said you're going to send it out.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Rio.
You mentioned about the 2122 incident number 5, regarding spitting in the food. Can we have the name of the restaurant that was involved in it?
Let me see if they put that in the report. I may not have accessibility to that.
And in some cases, I don't know if there is something that's still being investigated or pursued.
Correct.
In some cases, we purposely will not be given that information as
Correct.
commissioners.
Correct. It's an ongoing investigation, right?
No, that was extracted from this report. So the restaurant, it just says restaurant. It does not give me any, yeah, it doesn't give me any, it's an ongoing investigation.
Okay.
But it did not give me the name of the restaurant. I do apologize.
That's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Howard, did you have your hand up again?
No, I'm just taking notes.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna lower your hand. That's all. It's still virtually up. That's okay.
Oh,
That's okay. I did it. Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions or suggestions that we can yield to the floor now? If not, I'm going to turn it back over to Commissioner Blavitt.
Well, I have a question that you answered the one about looking at the trend.
Mm-hmm.
This is a bigger task. Could we get by our zip codes the trend in different zip code areas?
Mm-hmm. I can do it with the reports that I have here.
Right. I see. I see.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of tasks.
What I will do is I will compare January to June. That is a 6-month mark. So I'll do January to June.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And as we transition into new business and what's next, part of that also is we are going to build on the work that we did start at the retreat. And for those commissioners and Commissioner Howard and others that, were only able to participate partially, that work, in addition to what we've been doing, hopefully we're going to spend the time over the next couple of months really getting that more codified in a way that we'll be able to share with everyone and with the thoughts that you had. And we'll also want to give it ample time for the new executive director, as Ms. Peoples works with us, though, to make sure that we keep doing the work that we're doing. And unfortunately, we do have Ramona at the helm in the building, so to speak, doing much of the heavy lifting. So I do want to appreciate everything that she's doing and has been doing and continues to do for us. So with that, again, we will not be meeting in August as we typically do. I actually appreciate the amazing attendance tonight by all of you to be here. But we will, when we do reconvene in September, hopefully it is the anticipation that we will be in person. And we're not, a couple possibilities of where that'll be. It'll be in Towson, but a couple possibilities of where that might be to physically meet. So happy to open up for any other questions or comments that anyone else has. Again, we'll be communicating via email to everyone as we go through the summer, and we'll continue the work that all of you have agreed to do, and we appreciate what you're doing. So, Commissioner Lewis, did you have a comment, or was that just a flash coming and going?
Oh, I did have one question, and this is from a long time ago. I remember, we talked about the t-shirts and we never came to agreement on the t-shirts. However, we did also discuss cards. Did we ever get around to getting the cards for the commissioners? I go places
So,
all the time and everybody's like, do you have a card? I'm like, I am retired, so no, I don't have a card. Did we
so
ever
we,
get around to doing that?
yeah, we will work on that. What we will do is, we'll get you a card with the commission's, fax number and cell phone number, cell phone and office number, and website attached. In the past, what we did was we had like everybody's name and but we just need to have one common card that we can give out. And then what we can do is hopefully on the back where you can write your name on there specifically if you are giving it to someone. And that seems a little bit more personal than just handing a card to someone so that they know that they spoke directly to you. And we'll work on, that's something that we are working on in the month of August, is what the new brand will look like, because we do need to get things together, as we know that the fall brings on a lot of outreach. And so we want to make sure that as we are preparing for branding, that you all have the necessary tools that you need in order to engage with your community. So hopefully by the time we come back in September, those cards and even readily information cards for you to give out to the community will be available at that time as well.
And
Thank you.
just to add,
Thank you. And I
on,
do like I do like the idea that the card is going to be generic and it's going to have the location and phone number and contact information for the commission rather than, like you said, you can sign your name on the back, but I do like that information is there available if people need to report or want more information. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Savitra, I did hear you try. You sound a little low, but we're going to turn the floor over to you.
okay, do I still sound low?
That's better.
Okay. I was just going to add on to what you were sharing about, with throughout the month of August. Well, really starting now throughout, continuing on throughout the month of August, that we're going to be reviewing, the short list items now that the budget is passed. July 1st marked the beginning of a new fiscal year. And so any, administrative tasks, action items that were outstanding or were slated to be complete for FY23, we will definitely be working on those things. I just wanted to further and reiterate that.
Thank you, Commissioner King, and then Commissioner Bryan.
I just had a quick question. I don't know if any other commissioners have been redistricted out of their particular district, but I have. So I'm wondering after the election, what occurs?
You've been redistricted. They have
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
is
like
actually something.
my county,
Um,
my county councilman will be a different councilman and it's a different district. Yes.
yeah. So we are actually um, this what you just described is not unique only to the Human Relations Commission. So that is something that we are reviewing, and we'll be able to provide you with better information. We'll hopefully be able to send that out within the next few weeks on next steps. But yeah, that with the new lines, that definitely does impact or may impact several of the commission members. And as I mentioned, it's not unique just to the Human Relations Commission, but it's definitely across all of the boards and commissions in the county.
Question.
But just a minute, Commissioner Jamil, Commissioner Bryan. You're muted, Commissioner Bryan. Commissioner Bryan, you're muted.
Sorry, thank you. Just wanted to ask if our T-shirts died, or do we need to start that over, or?
It's going to be a new. We're in a new fiscal year. We'll have to. It's going to be have to revisit it, unfortunately.
Oh,
Commissioner Jamil, and then Commissioner Myrick. Commissioner Jamil.
Yes, I was wondering about the appointment of Chief Diversity Director in the Police Department of Ms. Kelly Fenner. We heard her during the retreat. Is it possible to have her come to the meeting and tell us as to what is the progress on that diversity training, what she's doing? I have no clue as to what and how that police training is in place. As we were talking about reference to the 21222 zip code, is the activity of the police there is better than other places?
Well,
So
we certainly can ask. That certainly be something that commissioners want to hear about at a future commission meeting and see about her possibility for attendance.
appreciate it. Thank
Commissioner Myrick. Actually, Ramona, can you unmute Commissioner Myrick, or
Mhm. Commissioner Myrick, can you hear us? Uh-oh. Let's try it again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, there we
Yes,
go.
indeed.
My apologies, but I have another meeting and I'm going to have to excuse myself from this meeting. So I'll be happy to see you in September. And thank you so much, Ramona, for everything that you do for our commission.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Myrick.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Commissioner Lewis.
The Unity Day, we postponed it in July.
Mm-hmm.
And is it supposed to happen in September?
Well,
Not in September. This will be definitely something that we'll be working on with Savitra and the county administrator with getting special requests to move it to another time. So we'll
Okay.
be doing it. We'll be reporting to you when that happens, because we have some other organizations that want to do some things too. So we want to support them in their efforts as well. So we will get back to you. Mhm.
right. Originally, it had been scripted to be July 12th every year. And part of what we're looking at is to possibly, maybe in this October, but as Ramona just stated, that maybe do it, modify the event in some ways to be inclusive and engaging. So it's a work in progress, but obviously, no, it did not take place this year and this July 12th, but we'll see if we do it a different way.
Mhm. It's so funny. I was looking at Facebook the other day, and in my memories, everything that we did leading up the month of July, and it was showing me in my memories everything that we've done in the past surrounding Unity Day. I was like, oh my goodness, I was so stressed out during
you.
during that time. So yeah, it was a wonderful time. Commissioner Blavitt, can we give Commissioner Ruth Howard, who's new to the commission, a few moments to the floor to introduce herself to the commission?
Certainly, that's a great idea. And I will actually have let Commissioner Howard, but an email to send to her to reach out to you to get her orientation and to get everything set up so that she can be fair to her, to be a little bit more learn about us. But please, certainly Commissioner Howard, share a little about your what brought you here tonight.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I am Ruth Howard, and I just got off the Commission for Women. I served on that for about 6 years. I have a 6-year rule, get on it and let somebody else take over. I served as the chair for 3 of the years, and I'm also on the National Commission for Women's Board. Professionally, I work in organizational development where I do executive coaching, strategic planning, strategic management. I work for the University of Maryland Health Systems, and prior to that, Johns Hopkins, as well as MedStar. I am originally from Western New York, a small town called Olean, which is outside of Buffalo, about 72 miles. But I've been here around 30 years, and I live in the White Marsh area.
Well, you certainly didn't bring the cold weather with you. That's
Oh.
so,
I lived in Atlanta before I came here.
so maybe you brought the warm weather to us.
There
Then.
you go.
Well, thank you, and certainly welcome, and look forward to working with you and seeing you in person in September.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Well, again, thank you all commissioners and Ms. Peoples as well for being here tonight. Hope you can all enjoy a nice summer, enjoy some quality family time, get outside, and everyone please stay healthy and know that we're still working around the clock, and we'll be when we get together in September, we'll hopefully have some good jumping off points to move the commission forward. So thank you all again for your time, and enjoy your summer.
Good to
Thank
see
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Enjoy and stay safe. Everyone stay safe.
Yes.
Yes, be well.
You too. Be safe. God bless you.